Welcome to another episode of GlideChat. My name is Michael Lombardo. With me is our Chief Technology Officer, Aaron Johnson. Aaron, how are you?
I am great, Mike. How are you?
Good. I think technically now you're our Chief Architect. You've had a lot of different C-level titles here, but you are the official first employee at GlideFast. There's a lot of controversy around this.
No controversy, no controversy. Yes, I was the first employee actually hired.
Okay.
Mia has been a contractor a little bit longer than I have.
Okay, so Mia was our first, the first developer at GlideFast.
Correct.
But you were technically the first W-2 employee.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hired about a month before Mia, and Mia was a contractor about a month before I was.
So you and I met long ago.
Geez, you were...
Long before GlideFast.
18?
My
19?
first, I think I was 19 years old. My first internship at Partners Healthcare.
Yeah. So we both had the same boss back then. We both worked for, a couple guys, Carlo Severo.
Carlo.
Yeah, I love Carlo. And Jim McComb, who's a good friend of both of ours as well.
Yeah.
At the service desk at Partners way back when, I was running the service center, which is kind of a precursor to ServiceNow, and a different ITSM platform. And well, you were an analyst, right? You were one of the help desk analysts.
Yep. So Peregrine Service Center, and then became HP Service Center. Is it still alive?
Believe it or not, it is. Who was I talking to? I was talking to one of the guys that works with us. It may have been Ryan Gillespie. Yeah. I think he. No.
Shout out Ryan.
Right shout out to Ryan.
It is right there.
Somebody was mentioning that one of their customers was still using it to this day.
Wow.
Which is unbelievable to me because that system was dated when I stopped using it, which is about 10 years ago now, or right around there, maybe 8, 9 years ago, something like that. But yes, people are still using HP Service Manager, which was great in the day. It's very flexible.
Yep.
Fred Buddy.
Flexible. I wouldn't say very. I wouldn't say very. No. It's flexible.
It is flexible and extremely difficult to actually administer.
I know.
You can have them both ways.
I remember when you made the scrolling text when we had like a team that, their on-call schedule or something.
Yes.
And I remember that was like a big to-do. We were so
Carlo
excited.
Loved it. Carlo absolutely
we were excited to get that.
Things.
And now that's like a layup in ServiceNow. That's like, that's too easy.
I remember one of the first things that Carlo wanted when we decided to put in, and this was long after you had obviously left Partners, but one of the things Carlo wanted with ServiceNow was, hey, can we get our scroll and banners back? I'm like, no.
Maybe not scrolling. We can pop a message.
Yeah, we can do some really cool things, but quite honestly, that was a nightmare to maintain.
Yeah.
And it took so many resources.
It went down. I remember it go down all the time. We'd have to use the web backup all the time. Why was it going down? I was always curious. Like, why?
Well, a number of things. I mean, one, essentially, I became responsible for like every aspect of it, from running the server, the infrastructure for it. So the actual servers that was running on, the database to a certain extent, the clients, like you name it. It ended up being my responsibility, and I'm not a server guy per se. I don't know, how to properly size a Windows server. So that's some of it, and it was just legacy, application. So it was originally meant to run on a mainframe way back in the day. That's the original source code was running on a mainframe.
It's crazy.
And they had ported this stuff over the years to run on, Windows boxes and SQL Server and all that.
Yeah.
But a lot of that wasn't baked into the platform to begin with. So it was not a robust system.
But I'll tell you, take the system aside, and this is how I later on in my career, looking back, I realized that the technology is only half the battle. That help desk was so well run.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was my first experience with the service desk, and we had KPIs, metrics. Every month Carlo would post those stats on there of like who took the most calls, who resolved the most calls. And I didn't know idle at all. I didn't even know I've never heard that term ever. But then when I went to Boston Medical Center, I left Partners, went to Boston Medical Center. It wasn't as well run. It was a smaller shop.
Right.
Technology wasn't there either. But just like, I'm like, wow, we didn't have a knowledge base,
Right.
I remember we had the K base at Partners that I think like Joe King and a couple other guys, Joe King, that they built like a homegrown website, and it was just like everything you needed, all the info we needed, one place.
Yep.
And that's what when I went to BMC, that was one of the first things I started working on. I built my own. I wanted to do it for the team. I ended up going for I didn't tell anybody at first. Built like basically a website with all the data because they were going to G Drive, SharePoint, all this. I'm like, you guys need a K-base.
Right.
So I built that first. And that was actually how, when they chose ServiceNow, a couple of years later, they were like, hey, Mike, you built a knowledge base. This has a knowledge base. Do you want to be the admin? I was like, yes. I didn't know what ServiceNow was, but I was like, sign me up.
Yeah, originally I had built up that HP Service Manager Peregrine Service Center platform, and it had a sister product too called Asset Center. I had built that up over the course of 10, 12 years, and it really was my baby. And at the time at Partners, we had this was in around 2011, 2012. We had a new director come in, and he was already familiar with ServiceNow.
Yeah.
I wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is going to replace my baby.
Yeah, I know.
And then kind of the first time I ever saw it, I'm like, I was just blown away.
I know.
Like everything that I had to do in 4, 5, 6 different tools,
was
all
one.
baked into the one platform. I didn't have to worry about any of that infrastructure. The platform obviously has come quite a ways in that time, right?
Isn't that crazy?
It's been 10 years. Seeing the CMDB map and the discovery, I'm like, holy moly, this is amazing.
Isn't it crazy how it's been able to scale?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
improve? Like, because HP Service Center, that's hit a brick wall. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah,
take it through. Sorry, HP.
Well,
but but it's the truth. Like, you can't improve that. ServiceNow, I think it was just because, obviously the architecture, but I think it was built at a time, that 2005, past 2000, I think, the way it was built allowed it the possibility to scale. It's just newer technology.
Right.
And that's where I think some of the challenges with like Salesforce, it's the same kind of thing. Like, you can't kind of get past that boxy AOL 1995, infrastructure.
Right.
And the development is not easy to do. Like, we dabbled in Salesforce originally. Remember, early days of GlideFast. Sorry, ServiceNow. We tried it, and we did a couple implementations, but the development was just cumbersome. The UI was tough,
Yeah.
And ServiceNow, luckily, I think just the technology it was built on allowed it to improve the UI, allowed it to add new features.
Yep.
And now we have this mammoth,
I know
platform.
it blows me away how much the platform has continued to improve and continue to add really cool features onto it over the course of what would you say 2005, 2004.
Yeah.
So they're coming up on 20 years, and they do not stop innovating. Right. And I think a lot of that, is thanks to Fred Luddy and his initial team.
Yeah.
They didn't plan for it to necessarily even be an ITSM platform. They
I know, he
planned
didn't want
on
it to be
a platform.
Yeah, he didn't want it to be.
Right. But it was too hard a concept to kind of sell the idea of just a platform. I think now it would
The
be
gateway
easier.
drug.
Right.
ITSM was the gateway drug.
Exactly.
Let's just get them in, get our foot in the door.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing even now. I mean, it's, we see it every day. It's like, it's just, all right, procurement's going to try this.
Right.
We got facilities that wants to try, just these little onesie-twosie workflows.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're in every corner of the business,
Well, and I don't think ServiceNow likes to say this out loud, but honestly, you could replace the majority of your business applications with the one platform.
Oh, easy.
Right?
Easy.
And that's no small feat, believe me.
No,
We have customers that would love to do exactly that.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
It's absolutely a challenge because these legacy applications have been around for decades or, longer in some cases. Some of our larger customers have been using the same types of processes for 40, 50 years.
Yeah. And how do you stop your day-to-day jobs?
Right.
It's like, okay, we gotta analyze how we do all this, write it down, talk about it, whiteboard it, get a vendor in here to help us solution this the right way. Because the other challenge of ServiceNow is there's a lot of ways you can do these things.
That's absolutely true.
But there's one best way. There's one absolute best solution.
Yep.
And if you're not looking at the big picture, if you're not factoring these things in, you can, sometimes and that's why partners and expertise are really crucial to this.
Absolutely.
So we were talking about the low code stuff. Like, yeah, it's a low code platform, but that doesn't mean you don't need experts.
And that's absolutely true, because to your point, there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things.
Yeah.
And if you're just coming into ServiceNow with not a lot of knowledge about it, and you don't go and learn about the platform, you can still make some pretty serious mistakes.
You can definitely make mistakes. And we all have. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit.
I am by no means perfect. I've made my share of mistakes. We all have. We all learn. Yeah. So it really is important that, especially when you're starting off in your ServiceNow journey, as a customer or somebody that's newly implementing ServiceNow, that you bring in somebody that really knows it and can tell you an overall strategy as to how you should use it, right? And that, I think, is one of the bigger challenges with bringing in these legacy apps, is they want to bring in the legacy app as well as the legacy process.
Yeah.
You got to take a step back.
Exactly.
And you got to say, no, just because we've been doing it this way for 20 years, is that the best way? How is that process going to interact with this other process over here? You don't have to necessarily know every nut and bolt right away, but you should have a general plan as to how these things are going to interact.
Exactly.
And if ServiceNow is providing a way for those processes to interact normally, I would say try that way first. ServiceNow has given this a lot of thought. You don't have to go back to the drawing board and start from something brand new. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Leverage it.
Exactly. It's not, I mean, yes, it is a platform. And if there's a specific type of business functionality that you need that hasn't already been built in,
well, build it.
Build it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go for it. But if it's a common practice or a common process that ServiceNow is already doing, try to stick with that.
And I always go back to this, everybody wants to try to be perfect day one, and I'm like, just use it. Obviously we're gonna have to do configuration, personalization. We're gonna have to build some stuff, and a lot of times you hear people petrified, oh, we don't want this to be a customization. We don't want it, It's like, listen, we gotta avoid bad practice, follow good practice, get best solutions. But don't be ServiceNow is not done. We're not going to implement this for phase one, and you're stuck with this for the next 30 years.
Absolutely.
A lot of it we don't know yet.
Right.
You don't know. We don't know. We got to use it a little bit and say, you know what? If we were to auto-populate this field when we do this, it's going to make our lives easier. Right. Hey, if we automatically and sometimes you don't realize, because you've been stuck in archaic processes and systems, that possibility of automation hasn't occurred to you yet. So it's you need to first, just get your feet wet, use it, and then continue to go. It's never done. And that's the beauty of ServiceNow.
Absolutely.
Their roadmap's never done. They're always going to be continually improving. And you should be, as a business, all the time, reinventing yourselves. Continual service improvement is my favorite step of ITIL.
Yeah. I think it's a challenge for a lot of these customers. They really are not in kind of that agile mindset where things continue to evolve over time.
Exactly.
There's a saying that I love, that perfect is the enemy of good.
Oh,
right? You're never going to achieve perfection. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for 90%. Right?
Better. Just aim for better.
Aim for better. Exactly.
And I know it's hard to say, because especially companies are making a big investment here.
Sure.
I mean, you got that's the challenge with a lot of these implementations too. It's a big investment. People are putting their names on the line.
Right.
We've seen it where things don't go well. It doesn't go well for the leaders. I think that's why GlideFast has really been super successful, is because from the beginning, the message we would always say is listen, challenges are going to come up. We have your back.
Yeah.
We're not gonna we're not lawyers here. We're not holding your feet to the fire. We're here to be a long-term partner with you, help you be successful. Challenges are going to come up on your side. Challenges are going to come up on our side. We're going to pivot where we need to and make things right. And it's a level of trust. I mean, you've been in some of your clients you've been in for since the beginning.
Yeah.
Are you still on that one?
I am still on that one.
Oh my God.
They are
still hanging. They won't let you go, huh?
Absolutely not. And I love them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them to go. So that's totally fine with me.
It becomes personal. You know, it's like
it is.
You go to like war together, you know?
Well, and to your point earlier, we don't want to be this partner that's coming in and charging a whole mess of money and then just walking out the door.
Yeah, like,
no, it's more important for us to build a long-term relationship where we truly are your partner, right?
Yeah.
If you go down, we go down.
Yeah.
If you are stand up, we stand up, right? It all works out in the end. And I think that makes us different than a lot of other partners. We're more concerned with the long-term health of the customer and making sure that the choices that they're making with ServiceNow and elsewhere are the right choices.
That's awesome. And so you're number 1.5, whatever it is. Like, what's special about GlideFast to you? Like, why do you stay here?
Yeah. Well, one of the, there's a few reasons.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about GlideFast the most is how much we're willing to share information with each other, right?
Yeah.
I've been here since the beginning with you and Mia and Lloyd. I don't mind, I don't know everything, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't mind going out and asking a question.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're me or somebody that's brand new to ServiceNow. I want everybody to be comfortable asking questions and getting the answers, and everybody is willing to help. I think that is
special.
One of the absolutely defining features of who we are.
Yeah.
Right, is sharing that information with everybody. We've, the main project I'm working on now, we've kind of instilled that within the team and made sure that everybody is aware. Because some of these folks, haven't been with GlideFast a long time.
Yeah.
They've been, ServiceNow a while.
Yeah.
Ask questions, right?
Yeah.
There's no shame in asking questions.
Yeah, we're not here to point fingers. Like, we're truly in it together. And, like, that's something we can't lose,
Absolutely.
It's so important.
It is crucial to who we are.
Because we got big growth plans. We have big plans for the future, but it doesn't work if we lose our team. Like, if we lose our
if we
culture,
lose who we are, absolutely.
who we are, and like it starts to get, I'm above this person or
Yeah.
And that's like just something from the beginning. It's like, we don't need to do that.
No, it's never been that way.
You'll be more successful in your career anywhere, not just GlideFast, by helping other people and in life, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, when I do something for somebody, it's more for me than them. I know it sounds weird to say, but it makes me feel good. Like
absolutely.
Just like going to something like helping my grandmother with something like, setting up a TV or a remote control for her or something, like, it makes her so happy. It makes me feel good to make her happy. I'm doing it for her, but like, it makes me feel good. So it's more self-serving to like help the people around you.
Yeah.
And what we always talk about at GlideFast is like, listen, then when you need somebody
else has got your
Somebody's got your back. And that's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And other partners either don't know that or don't care. I don't think they care to know that. I think it's more about money for a lot of partners. It's never been about money for us.
No, it really has been about improving ourselves.
Yeah.
And helping our customers improve as well. Yeah. Right. That's the ultimate goal. And if you follow those things,
you're going to win.
It's going to come natural.
Proof's in the pudding.
I know over the years that you and everybody else on the team has put their heart and soul into making sure that works.
Starting with you, yeah, we all have.
Absolutely,
we all have, and shout out to everybody at GlideFast that has. I mean,
absolutely,
it's been a hell of a ride. It's not. I mean, it's funny.
It's
always
started,
feel like day one, right? It always, in it we have these achievements, and it's like people are like, man, you must have like I'll tell you, the biggest time we partied. You were there. We got the ServiceNow Partner of the Year award.
Yeah.
Like, that was like the biggest, like, all right, I'm going to go out and have fun about this. The Apex acquisition, like, I haven't had like a party night because it's like, we got work to do. You know what I mean? Like, we're not taking our victory lap. The Partner of the Year thing meant more to me than anything because, like, that's recognition.
It is validation of all of that hard work. It absolutely is.
And we never really got like respect in the early days.
Not initially. Not initially. But
now it's like McDermott's on speed dial. But
we're now the first guy you call, not the last guy.
Yeah. Yep.
So it is very validating to have that happen these days.
Well, Aaron, thank you for all your hard work, dedication. I love you, brother. And
love you too, man.
And look forward to the future.
Same here, Mike. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a good one.